Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here tonight for another edition of NASCAR 06 Total Team Control in our second race of the Cup Series season in the Do It for Dale Series. For the Nextel Cup Series is going to take place at the California Speedway for the running of the Auto Club 250. 250 miles, 125 laps for a first of four 50% races on this not custom schedule season, on our full season chase for the Cup season to try and get Dale Earnhardt Jr. his first career Nextel Cup Series title. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we do full race live streams with realistic commentary both for the real races on the race weekend and the video game races during the week. Truck race is coming on in a little bit, so we'll try to get out of here as soon as possible with this 50% race so you guys can get on to watching that. I may stay up to watch the rest of it tonight. I'm not entirely sure. I have to work tomorrow, so that is why I'm not doing the live commentary for that race tonight, just in case it were to go long. And I think that's pretty much going to do it for the intro. Car felt really good in practice for Dale Jr. I will say the stability in the car today is a lot better than what it was at Daytona for the dual race and for the Daytona 500 yesterday. But it's going to be interesting with this being a 50% race. I don't think the fuel window is going to be a full 50 laps like it would be in real life. So I don't know if it's going to be a 2-stop race or if it's going to be closer to maybe a 3 or a 4-stop race with it being a 50%er. That's all going to be new, obviously, to the EA Sports games. We've not ran a 50% race on any of the EA Sports games yet so far. So we'll see how this is going to play out. Again, like and subscribe. We'll get into qualifying here, and we'll see where Dale Jr. will qualify. Now, he was the pole sitter for the Daytona 500 yesterday, so he's already 1 for 1 on the pole awards, but unfortunately had a 27th place finish. Also finished 12th in his dual race at Daytona yesterday as well. At the regular old number 8, we're going to say Budweiser paint scheme just for the sake of consistency purposes and real purposes that it was a Budweiser Red 8 car that Dale Jr. iconically drove while racing at DEI. Mikey Cars One Boy, Patrick Shadley, Derek Booth, Lawnmower, and Raymond Toohey, welcome to the stream. Earnhardt going to run this middle to upper groove, just trying to get up to speed on lap 1. He's got 2 laps to try and set the quick time. Looking to stay on the outside into the tri-oval. Fast speeds at the now known as Auto Club Speedway, formerly known as the California Speedway. Earnhardt going to overdrive 1 and 2 down towards the bottom of the racetrack. Getting back into the gas pretty soon, nearly up into the walls. He got up in the marbles off the exit of turn 2. Definitely overdrove 1 and 2 just a little bit, but again, he can try to pick up time on lap 2 as well. A lot better through 3 and 4 this time for Earnhardt. He's going to work that time back, and I think he's going to be in the top 10 after lap 1. Again, trying to pick up as much speed as possible. 13th on lap 1 with a 38.530. And lap 2 for Earnhardt, he's going to drive it in really deep down to the bottom. He has to back it up a little bit more in the center of the corner to keep from getting back into the gas too soon like he did on lap 1. A lot better that time, but not perfect, as it's going to be tough to get the pole for Earnhardt. Kind of struggled in turns 1 and 2 both times. 3 and 4, though. Nearly perfect. Maybe back in the gas a bit too soon. A lot of grip, though, off the exit of the corner. He's going to try to keep it as tight and as low away from the wall as possible. Now diving it off down to the apron into the tri-oval. 38.490. That will be fast enough for 10th in qualifying for Dale Earnhardt Jr. So not too shabby of a qualifying effort. And Kurt Busch will be on the pole for the second race of the season tonight. Toxic Punk Young Boy, welcome to the stream as well. I'm doing great today. Hopefully you are also. Great to see you live streaming. Got NASCAR 05 today on the GameCube. Started the fight to the top. Huggers Oranges. Yes. I remember that. In the truck series, right? That's, I believe what I drove in the truck series on my career mode playthrough. Off the channel, of course. But, before we get into this race, just a reminder, I put in the community tab a couple of posts earlier today. For those of you that were wondering what may have happened to the dual race at Daytona from yesterday afternoon or why I didn't stream it, I did stream it yesterday afternoon. At some point last night when I was sleeping, And then I woke up this morning, I got an email from YouTube saying that they had blocked my video. It is private, and I cannot put it back to public, and there's no way for me to appeal or go through some sort of an appealing process to try to get that stream uploaded back onto YouTube again. From what I've heard is there's some sort of a glitch going on with YouTube right now, and they're working on trying to fix it, because it's not just my channel that had that happen to within a live stream yesterday, and it seems to only be live streams that it was happening to. Luckily, the Daytona 500 stream is on. It was just the dual race at Daytona that got kicked away. So you can go ahead, you can rewatch that Daytona 500. Great race last night. Unfortunately, we finished 27, but it was a pretty phenomenal race. It started sloppy, but once we got to about lap 70 to the end of the race, or at least until about like 8 to 9 laps to go, it was just about as good as super speedway racing as you could ask for. Out of the Gen 4 cars especially. It was a lot of fun. The cars are slipping and sliding around Daytona. Dual race was a lot of fun yesterday too. I will try to get that uploaded as quickly as I possibly can, but because I had to work today and because I have to work tomorrow and I'm still behind on the race highlight video from Kansas this last weekend, which will be up before I stream on Sunday night for the All-Star race, I'm working as hard as I can. That's just something extra I have to do, is try to get that uploaded. Now, there is a possibility that it could get waived off, but because I can't appeal it, it's going to be really hard to get that stream back up and running on the channel. So what I could do is I could screen record it on YouTube. The volume might be a little bit different from the original volume. It's not going to be really coming from this mic, but it'll be the live commentary from what happened during the race. And I will get that to you guys on the channel probably on Sunday at the very latest, is what we're looking at. I had also heard that Michael Marooks had a similar situation with a live stream he had last night. Somebody notified me in the community tab. I think Davion West did. Said something about Michael Marooks had the same thing happen to him. And I checked on his channel when I got home from work today, and he had a couple community tab posts about how his stream got taken down from last night as well. And he hopes to have it back up on the channel within the next 24 hours. So that's kind of the similar circumstance we're under. Same exact issue. It was literally the same thing that he got flagged for, that I got flagged for. Difference is he was able to appeal his. I unfortunately did not have the ability to appeal mine. I don't know if that has to do with the subscriber difference or how that works. How many views maybe the stream had, which it had quite a few, especially considering it was a Thursday afternoon. We had almost 500 views on that before it got flagged. So appreciate you guys watching that race yesterday and the Daytona 500 last night. We had over 50 people watching. We'll see what we're going to do today. We're competing with the Truck Series race here in a little bit, so we'll see how that's going to play out. And let's get this race started. Of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming off a 27th place finish in the Daytona 500. Again, qualified 10th as you saw moments ago. And it'll be Kurt Busch leading the field to the green today at California. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway out west. Dale Jr. kind of spinning the tires on the start. He's going to stack up Kevin Harvick in line behind him. Got to be careful on the restarts here at California, as things can get really, really wide on this 2-mile racetrack. One of the widest, if not the widest racetrack in NASCAR. Kevin Harvick nearly clipped the left rear corner panel of Earnhardt off the exit of turn 2. Falls in line on the outside behind him. Earnhardt, who started up in the outside lane, still up there. 3 wide up towards the front of the field right now for second place, and it looks like just behind him for about 6th or 7th as well. Earnhardt gets taken out. He clipped one car down towards the bottom of the racetrack as well. Oh man, Kevin Harvick clipped the left rear corner panel of Dale Jr. off the exit of turn 4. Jr.'s, oh my goodness, Dale Jarrett had a blowover on the front stretch. So he clipped Dale Jarrett, and as you see Jarrett spinning backwards, he blew over. Very fast speeds at California. He was probably going well over 180 at the point of contact. And we already have a caution in this one, and Dale Jr. is going to have to pit. That's the danger of being stuck on the outside. I mean, that did not take long at all. Lap 1, and we have a caution off turn 4. Jr. not going to be able to pit for fuel or tires here. Definitely going to pit to repair damage, which he has quite a bit on the front. It looked like he had it saved, but he clipped the right rear of Dale Jarrett off the exit of turn 4, and then Jarrett spun around and actually blew over before he ended up back in the middle of the pack. And that was the big one at California, I guess.
Nobody else decided to come in.
Well, Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream as well. Green flag back in the air. I guess leader of lap 1 is going to end up being Kurt Busch in the 97. Opendale Jr. does not have too much damage. We saw at Daytona how much that really affected the speed in his race car overall when he had what really wasn't any damage at all. He pretty much survived the night. Was very fortunate to have that happen until, of course, that late yellow with about 5 laps to go, he finally got caught up in a wreck. Gonna let the field race it out right now in front of him. Saw 9 cautions in the Daytona 500 yesterday. Stinks that we already had a caution on lap 1. Earnhardt's tire is probably gonna be used up quite a bit early in the run, considering he spun off turn 4. 2 and 3 wide towards the back of the pack again. Just trying to get that icon off the screen. It's like Terry Labonte is towards the back of the pack right now. I believe this is the Kellogg's number 44. Earnhardt looks low off the exit of turn 4, really low, trying to get underneath the 5 of Labonte, 44 of Labonte, excuse me. Jeff Gordon has just taken the race lead out ahead of Kurt Busch. Earnhardt overdriving turn 1 to get around the 44 of Labonte, and Labonte is probably going to be able to cross him over. Maybe not. I guess Earnhardt beat him back to the gas. Actually, where'd Labonte go? Like Labonte disappeared. I don't know. That's odd. Terry Labonte in the 44, nowhere to be found anymore. Might have DNF'd. Nathan Elliott, welcome to the stream. I hope I do better than Daytona as well. Not a great start. Good qualifying effort out the window. Looks like Michael Waltrip lost a lot of spots as well. Continues to lose spots. And the number 15, and I wonder if he's got a problem. Earnhardt getting tight in the dirty air. It's amazing how much dirty air plays a factor in this game. Like I mentioned, I said last night during the Daytona 500, it almost felt like NASCAR 21 ignition when you're in dirty air. And that's kind of the case in this game too. Because I very rarely overdrove a corner in practice. And I was behind Shane Meal for a little bit. But not like in this heavy traffic that you're seeing early on in California today. Again, you saw Earnhardt go up the track a little bit. Already on lap 10, though, and just a 125-lap race. This is short by Cup Series standards, especially in the early to mid-2000s. Earnhardt getting really tight on exit of the corner, and some of that is probably the damage on the front of his race car following the lap 1 accident. I'd have to imagine as well. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. I almost thought about not qualifying for this race just in case I was going to get into early trouble, because I had a bad feeling with how crazy the starts and restarts get at this track. Definite adjustments are going to have to be made to the 8 car, though, eventually throughout the course of this race. Surprised Dale Jarrett's still running after a blowover in the lap 1 accident. Junior trying to drive underneath the 10 of Riggs. Got a little loose off turn 4, trying to drive it down to the apron. Riggs is going to be clear with a block in the middle of the tri-oval. I did not see it. I saw you sent something, but I did not actually see it yet. Billy Carjoy, welcome to the stream. Junior in the wall. Off of turn 2. Gotta say hello. Yeah, I just did. Oh, Mark DeMars, welcome to the stream as well. Sorry, I didn't see you. You guys know if I see you, I'll shout you out. Earnhardt could not get around Scott Riggs in the 10 right now. Finally gets underneath him off turn 4. AI is just as aggressive in this game as what they were in Thunder 04. I would say they were not this aggressive in NASCAR 05. A little wiggle up the track for Earnhardt. Still going to make the pass on Riggs. Close quarters racing through 1 and 2. I have no clue what's going on with that. I honestly have not. Storylines with WWE have kind of fallen behind after Backlash, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what's going on the last couple weeks or last week or so. I haven't seen any of the highlights yet. And this A car just keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Hey, I didn't forget about you, Mark. Regular viewer of the channel. I just didn't see you in the chat. I will say it's going to get a lot harder to shout you guys out as we get more and more viewers in the future. But like I said, I do my best. It's like with the live race commentary, live streams are pretty difficult to do that. Three wide down towards the bottom, I believe, is going to be the 149 car. Underneath the 22 and the 45. Earnhardt up the track a little bit. Oh, Wimmer into Petty. They're both into the wall on the outside. Luckily, we stay green. Earnhardt did not want to bring out a caution there. Three wide at Fontana. Can work, but it didn't that time. Earnhardt to the outside of the 147 car, not the 149. And now the 149 just drove right into the side of Earnhardt. And Earnhardt's going to go up the racetrack. And he's going to lose a lot of ground with it. Morris Jordan, welcome to the stream. Last night was the Daytona 500. In the dual race, and then we did the truck race on Tuesday night, the Busch Series race at Daytona on Wednesday. Plan on doing a double header tomorrow night with the Busch and the truck race at Fontana. Our coverage is going to begin at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And I know you guys may be wondering, well, why am I doing two races starting that late? Well, the Busch Series race is going to be a 50% race, and then the truck race will be the full 100 laps. So our first of 4 50% races, not only for the Cup Series, is going to be at California, but as well for the Busch Series. So that's only going to be about a 125-miler or sorry, 150 miler, and then the truck race is going to be the full 200 miler. One car blew an engine on the inside of the track. I think it was Joe Nemechek, but I'm not entirely sure. Earnhardt down towards the apron in 1 and 2, trying to defend his position on the 147. If you're wondering why Earnhardt may be lacking speed, he was involved in an opening lap caution off turn 4, and he is definitely suffering in the speed and handling department because of it. I'd say top end speed's not bad. But he is extremely tight with the damage. I have to figure out something with this car. I will say he's able to grip up on the apron in turns 3 and 4 really well, which is a raceable line in real life as well. Like there were some sparks up ahead, like there might have been contact off the exit of turn 2 with a couple cars. Now it's Dale Jr. Yeah, trying to get Dale Jr. his first career championship. Virtue of the fan vote. I will be racing as Jr. for both the Busch and the Cup Series. Jr. going down to the apron through the tri-oval, doing everything he can right now to try and shortcut the racetrack. Again, just a 50% race today. Somehow, someway, Jr. is going to have to try to get this track position back. Slowly but surely trying to work his way through the field. Led 54 laps in the Daytona 500 last night, which was second most to Jimmy Johnson, who went on to lead 60 laps. Johnson was able to get a top 5 finish in the 500, where Earnhardt finished 27. And was actually leading at one point with about 19 laps to go in the race. And up there in the thick of things with Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle. I wonder how much of a fuel situation might happen after that caution came out early in this one. Saving these guys a few laps of fuel under the yellow. Again, the fuel tank not going to be as large in this race today compared to in real life at California, even in the 2005 season with the with the Gen 4 cars. Not the next gen cars, but the Gen 4 cars. Earnhardt had a really good corner through 3 and 4 that time. Continuously trying to pick up some speed. Again, trying to take a shortcut down to the apron through the tri-oval. Closes in on Jason Leffler in the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. In his rookie season, Leffler trying to squeeze Earnhardt. Earnhardt going to get around him. Clears him off turn 2. Big hop out of line for Brian Vickers in the 25 car. Earnhardt's going to drive it in really flat into turn 3. Getting a little loose with the left sides down on the apron. Has to catch the race car, and I think Leffler may get by on the outside and does. So a little bit longer into the run, and Earnhardt can't hold the apron through 3 and 4 like he was able to in the beginning of the run on fresh tires. So he'll keep that noted. Back to the inside of Leffler through turns 1 and 2. Beats Leffler back to the gas. John Andretti in the 14 car now up on the outside. Earnhardt drives it in pretty deep through 1 and 2. Got it to stick really well. Bottom of the racetrack. I believe he's closing in on the 40 car of Sterling Marlin now. Not the silver bullet paint scheme anymore, more of a white paint scheme for Marlin this season. And that number 40 car for Chip Ganassi Racing, I think he'll be actually driving the 14 car for MB2 Motorsports in NASCAR 07, so it's his last year with Chip Ganassi Racing. Oh, almost contact in the tri-oval. Between Vickers and the car to his outside now going into turn 1. Earnhardt really overdrove 1 and 2 way up the track. Might allow car to get underneath him. Maybe not quite. Marlin almost got back to the inside of Dale Jr., but not quite. Jr. got a little loose with the left sides down on the inside. Loose as fast if he can hang on to it. He didn't wiggle too much, didn't overcorrect the race car at all. And try to break the draft that Marlin had off the exit of turn 4 by going down to the apron through the tri-oval. Now back up the racetrack to try and arc his corner off into turns 1 and 2 again. Earnhardt trying to rally a little bit. He's up to 32nd. Slowly but surely he can get his way through the field. Problem is, this isn't a 500-mile race like it was in real life. He's got to get going through this traffic, but again, I think he'd be a lot quicker if he didn't have damage. Obviously, he qualified 10th, but maybe having a top 10 car is no longer. We've only had just that one caution on lap 1, nothing since. Feeling a little bit more spaced apart now, but congested together in the middle of the pack because of the amount of drafting that's on display with the long straightaways. The California Speedway. I think that was Jeremy Mayfield who just got passed by Dale Jr. Kenny Schrader and Jimmy Spencer will be the next two cars in front of Dale Jr. in the middle of the pack. Hovering around 30th place. Earnhardt on the inside of Schrader. Hooks the bottom beautifully. Gonna get around the 49 car. And may get underneath the 50 of Spencer as well in the tri-oval, and does. Spencer taking over for Derek Cope in that 50 car. Ready deep into turns 1 and 2. A little slide job by Earnhardt. Up the track, clear on Spencer. Spencer going to try a crossover off the exit of the corner. Earnhardt probably a little bit more straightaway speed and better equipment for sure in the DEI Chevrolet compared to the 50. He's down on the bottom and he's able to clear him back to the inside through 3 and 4. Have a driver swap for the first time today. We'll see what Michael Waltrip is doing back in the field. Waltrip currently in 40th place in the number 15 Napa car. He was the only DEI car that failed to finish the Daytona 500. Had an engine failure midway through last night. Closing in quickly on the 22. Scott Wimmer in his second season. Waltrip pretty flat through 3 and 4. I will say Waltrip's car is handling better and much cleaner air right now, as well as the fact that Junior has damage. We'll see what we can do with Waltrip for the next few laps. I would imagine we're probably going to see green flag pit stops relatively shortly, for the most part. Next race of the Cup Series season will be at Las Vegas next week. Again, Truck and Busch Series races on NASCAR 06 at California tomorrow. Doubleheader for you guys on a Saturday night. That'll take place after qualifying for the Cup Series All-Star race at Texas. Oof, man, big pass underneath Kyle Petty. Waltrip is putting on the afterburners right now. It's amazing how much better this car's driving than Earnhardt's. Earnhardt having to kind of be patient getting back to the gas a bit more than Waltrip. Waltrip is picking him up and putting him down. Oh, underneath the 10 of Riggs. Riggs trying to crowd Waltrip. Really pinching him and trying to side draft him in the middle of 3 and 4, but Waltrip gets around him with a clean pass. Big run on the 147 car in the tri-oval. Will get underneath him. And he'll make the pass for 36th into turns 1 and 2. Clips the apron a bit. Actually got it to stick that time. So even on relatively older tires, Michael Waltrip's getting his car to stick. Wow, Dale Jr. starting to drop like a rock as well right now. Waltrip's got to get around Jr. What has happened to Dale Jr.? He was just inside the top 30, and now he's back to 36th and fading. Next lap, we'll see what Mark Truex Jr. in the 1 car is up to, but I don't know what's going on with Earnhardt. It sounds like Elliott Sadler may have blown an engine earlier in the race. That might have been the driver who was down on the apron earlier. I thought it may have been Joe Nemechek. I guess it was Sadler, and Sadler's coming back out onto the racetrack. It could have been Nemechek. It could have missed Sadler blowing an engine as well. 23rd position right now is the one of Martin Truex Jr. On the inside of Kenny Wallace in the 00 for Michael Waltrip Racing. Truex in traffic, going to make the pass. Underneath the 9 car now of Casey Kane. When I swap cars, this happens. That didn't happen at Daytona last night. I think it's because Earnhardt has damage, though. Oh, that was tight. Casey Mears did not give Martin Truex Jr. a lot of room on the bottom. Pass was able to be made. Big blocks into turns 3 and 4 for the 2 cars in front of Truex. I think we might have some cars pitting this time. Yep. Pit road's getting busy. Tony Stewart will take the lead away from Jeff Gordon, who likely hit pit road that last time. I'm hoping Dale Jr. stays on the track a little bit longer. Might be able to get Martin Truex Jr. 5 bonus points for leading a lap, depending on when the rest of the top 10 pits, because right now he's in 10th. He's going to look to the inside of Jamie McMurray in the 42 car. Not going to be able to. Not that time. Jamie McMurray in the 26 in NASCAR 7. Yep, that is true also. He will no longer be at Chip Ganassi Racing as well in the 42. Speaking of McMurray, again, he'll get passed by Truex that time. Truex grips up in 1 and 2. More clean air in front of the 1. Man, I wish Earnhardt's car was driving as good as the 1 and the 15. Tony Stewart going to stay on the track. One more lap with Truex, and we'll go back to see what Earnhardt's up to again. Dale Jr. and Michael Waltrip have not pit yet because I haven't seen the red X. So some of these drivers short pitting right now. But this could potentially be a strategy call to short pit and try to take advantage on fresher tires. Yeah, the 50% race, the tires are going to wear out more quickly into the run. So tire wear is going to be a big factor in this one. Even though it's not the bumpy Fontana we know of today. Tony Stewart will hit pit road this time. And I believe all the leaders in the top 5 will pit, so Martin Truex Jr. will get 5 bonus points that time at the line. He'll lead his first lap of the race. And we'll go back to see what Dale Earnhardt Jr. is doing. Again, what just happened there? What just happened with our driver, Dale Jr.? Ay, ay, ay. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. Yeah, that was awkward. Truex is on pit road now. So Dale Jr. should be able to get 5 bonus points for leading a lap this time by. He was pitting when you made the swap. Probably, we'll stay out. I'll take 5 bonus points. It wasn't that lap, though. Martin Truex Jr. actually led that lap at the line. Both the DEI cars of the 15 and the 1 are on pit road. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. will get 5 bonus points this time by. Now would be the perfect time to see a caution for Dale Jr.'s sake. It's going to be his first lap led of the race. On lap 42. So Dale Jr. will pit this time. Has about a 20-second lead. Probably going to lose a little bit of time. Staying out as much as he did. Jr. on his way in. Oh! He's going to spin. He's going to lock him up. And we have a caution. Good save. Coming in a little hot, trying to back the car off as he came off the banking of the racetrack to the apron to come to pit road and had a bit of a wheel hop, downshifting, and Dale Jr. loses control, but he kept it from going all the way up the track and he was able to stay on the apron mostly. And we have a caution. It's not the caution he wanted, and unfortunately I think that's going to trap his teammate a lap down, and Michael Waltrip. A good save by Earnhardt nonetheless. Four tires and fuel. Gonna take a round of wedge out of the car. We better not go a lap down. We were in the lead when the caution came out. Round of wedge coming out of the car to try and help loosen it up with the damage to the front of the 8. And then an air pressure adjustment as well to try and help loosen it up. Adding a pound all the way around. 4 tires stopped. Junior was the last car that still had to hit pit road. And he has 5 bonus points. We did lead a lap before the caution came out, luckily. Yeah, I know a lot of cars stayed out. Now, with Junior being so far back in the pack, though, too, a lot of the drivers are still on the lead lap. Only a few of them were actually trapped a lap down. Green flag back in the air. Luckily, Michael Waltrip will get the free pass as the first car 1 lap down, so he'll be in 36th on the restart. Green flag back in the air, lap 47, following the second caution of today's Auto Club 250. Dale Jr.'s not a lap down. I don't know why the crew chief said that. So all the DEI cars are back on the lead lap, and hopefully the adjustment changes will work for Earnhardt again, trying to get this track position. Like a bit of a stack up off turn 4. Big block by Jason Leffler in the tri-oval. They're stacking up a bit. Elliott Sadler. I forgot he came out of the racetrack after blowing an engine earlier on. Little contact with Mears. This is not a good spot to be if you're Earnhardt, 3 wide middle. Gained a few spots on the tri-oval that last time. Tony Stewart got to restart in the lead at the front of the field. He must have had a quicker pit stop than the 24 of Jeff Gordon, even after pitting a little after the 24 of Gordon. You have to watch out for Sadler every time the pack's going to catch him. And even with the single file restarts at Fontana, they could still get wild, as you're seeing right now. Yeah, that caution didn't really help or hurt Earnhardt, I don't think. With the damage, I don't think it's going to matter too much. think he can still salvage a good day. Shot of winning likely out the window. Big block on Leffler off the exit of turn 4. Junior just trying to get to the bottom. Pretty good corner exit as well to get underneath the 40 of Marlin. Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man, going to lead his first lap of the race today. 5 bonus points for the 12. And the Penske Dodge is up in front. Oh, big block by Kenny Wallace. Earnhardt lost the nose of his race car. Having to defend now on the back straightaway. And is going to hold on to his spot. Grips the apron through 3 and 4. On the fresher tires, he was able to do that earlier. Earnhardt looking under Schrader. Can he get around him? Schrader not going to give Earnhardt a lot of room, but just enough. Earnhardt hit his marks beautifully through 1 and 2, even in traffic to make that pass. Dives underneath Shane Neal into turns 3 and 4. Jeff Green in the 43 car right in front of him. Can't believe we've had a flip in the first 2 races of the season. And we had some flips in the dual race too. Really deep into 1 and 2 for Earnhardt. Clip the apron a bit. I have to say, I think these adjustments were definitely a step in the right direction. Dale Jr. gonna get around Scott Wimmer. Goes up to block Wimmer. Up high. Still blocking Wimmer now down to the bottom into turn 1. Up the track goes Earnhardt. Slide job on Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. Barely cleared him. That was a gutsy move on a very fast racetrack. At over 195 miles an hour on corner entry into turn 1. Mayfield trying to battle back to the inside of the 8. Contact. I think Mayfield kept it off the wall luckily, and Earnhardt kept his car from spinning. That's about how he spun on lap 1 after contact with Kevin Harvick. This pack is not getting separated. It's like pack racing at California. Which, again, because of the drafting, probably allows that to happen a little bit more. We saw them get spaced out longer into the last run. I'm sure that's going to happen eventually after about 10-20 laps as the tires start to get a bit older and you're lifting a bit more in the corners. But right now, with everybody on relatively fresh tires, as long as Earnhardt can keep the drafting help and continue to work his way forward, I think things could work out for him here. Hopefully with this adjustment he doesn't get too loose on the longer run. Should be a 1 stopper to the end of the race, I would think. So 2 stops total. Even though they can't go 50 laps on fuel. Jimmy Spencer blocking Dale Jr. Jr. looking low under Spencer. Not a great spot to be in, down on the bottom. Into turns 1 and 2. Wasn't 3 wide on corner entry that time, so it actually helped him a bit. Jimmy Spencer's got a good run going on the bottom right now underneath the 9 of Casey Kane. Earnhardt going to take it 3 wide under the 50 in the 9. Half his car down on the apron again. He can hold it this early in the run. Clears both Spencer and Kane off turn 4 for 18th. This is Ricky Rudd in the 21 car right in front of Dale Jr. Junior on the outside of Rudd. As they drive it into turns 3 and 4. Junior trying the outside lane. Catching up on Elliott Sadler in the 38 car right now. Junior's going to pull to the bottom. Don't look at him fan out. McMurray got stuck behind Sadler, unfortunately. Earnhardt looking back to the outside of the 21 car again. Runs more of the middle lane this time through 1 and 2. And Rudd not able to stay underneath the 6 of Martin. Almost halfway home. Lap 63 will be the halfway mark tonight. We'll have our trivia question. And until that trivia question, we're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Earnhardt drafting in line right behind Ricky Rudd. Into turns 1 and 2. Trying to be maybe a little bit patient. I think Mark Martin just made a pass on Robbie Gordon, or tried to, went to the bottom, and Ricky Rudd is going to get to the outside of Martin into turn 3. Martin pulls a block on Rudd off the exit of turn 4. Good battle for position just outside the top 15 right now. Earnhardt hooks the bottom perfectly through 1 and 2. And he has cleared Mark Martin for position. Followed Ricky Rudd right through. Rudd looks like he overdrove turns 3 and 4 to the top. Earnhardt going to beat him back to the gas and get underneath him off turn 4. Earnhardt clipped the apron through 1 and 2. Still early enough in the run. That's going to allow him to clear Rudd with a little bit of a slide job off the exit of turn 2. Going down low to block the 21 car now. Big block as they go into 3. Earnhardt's going to enter in pretty flat, so he tries to back up the corner and does it perfectly, staying on the inside. Like I said, just methodically working his way through the field right now. Hall of Fame racing in this game? I think so. Earnhardt overdrove 1 and 2 underneath the 31 of Jeff Burton. Not Robbie Gordon, like I said earlier. Robbie Gordon actually not in this game. So last year in the 31 car would have been in the NASCAR 05 gameplay. Jeff Burton in this car now after going away from Roush in the 99 the season before. Oh, Dale Jr. just got into Matt Kenseth. Kenseth's in the wall on the outside. We're going to stay green. Poor Kenseth. Lost a lot of spots out of that. Surprised Earnhardt didn't get sideways, too. That was all Earnhardt's fault. He just drove it in a bit too deep under Kenseth. Kyle Busch coming off a third-place run in the Daytona 500 last night. And 12th right now. A little contact off turn 2. We saw a couple cars rubbing fenders. Harvick going to jump out of line trying to make a pass on Tony Stewart. He got held up behind it. Earnhardt pretty deep into turns 3 and 4. Can't get to the inside of Busch. I wonder where Greg Biffle's running right now, if he is still in this race, considering he was the winner of the Daytona 500. After starting last in the race. We're at lap 65, just past the halfway mark right now. Tonight's trivia question on the channel is this. Only 6 races in the NASCAR Cup Series in history have gone past the scheduled distance at the Auto Club Speedway? Who is the only driver to win a race past the scheduled distance in the Cup Series at Auto Club more than one time? That is tonight's trivia question. Again, who is the only driver to win at Auto Club more than once in the Cup Series when that race has gone past the scheduled distance? Answer to that trivia question will be at lap 72. Dale Jarrett, who had a blowover, is barely outside the top 10 right now. I'm surprised he's still in the race, let alone having a shot at the top 10. Well, Mark DeMars on his first try is going to get the answer correct. Kyle Busch is the only driver in NASCAR history to win at Auto Club more than once when the race has gone past the scheduled distance. So congratulations, Mark, for getting that answer right. 3 wide right now into turns 1 and 2. Earnhardt down low on the bottom lane. Dale Jarrett was in the middle, and I think Tony Stewart was up high. Earnhardt hooks it up. Gets to the inside of Kyle Busch now off the exit of turn 2 and is going to draft off Bobby Labonte on the back straightaway. Oh, massive run. I think Elliott Sadler's closing in. Earnhardt goes down to the apron. He's going to slide up the track, hoping nobody's there, and Busch is there. Both into the outside wall goes Kyle Busch and Dale Jr. That was a big lick for both of them. Elliott Sadler stacked everybody up. Earnhardt went down to the apron and couldn't hold it. A little too far into the tire stent. Luckily, no caution. We continue to stay green. That's going to cost both Busch and Earnhardt a lot of time because Earnhardt's now over 4.5 seconds off the lead, even though he's in the top 10. The top 9 have really gotten away after that. Jeff Burt was able to make it through in 11th. The battle for 10th right now is Jeff Burton is keeping the fight on. Burton clears Earnhardt. Earnhardt going to try a crossover off the exit of turn 4. Lap 70 in this one. Earnhardt should have the advantage on the bottom through 1 and 2. It's his marks, he'll be able to clear Burton. Him battling Burton, though, is losing even more time to the leaders. That's a pretty good hit into the wall, too, adding more damage to the 8. Definitely can't help him. It's going to be tough to get away from the 31. Actually stuck the apron well that time in 3 and 4. He obviously didn't. He was trying to get around Busch and the slow car of Elliott Sadler, who nearly caused an accident. Again, Sadler is down a cylinder right now. He blew an engine early in the race, but came back out on the racetrack trying to get extra points. Early in the season, that's going to hurt him, but remember, the chase format will be on for this season, so the top 10 will make the chase at the end of the 26-race regular season. 5 points between position when we start the 10-race playoff/chase, based off of how the top 10 finish at the end of the 26-race regular season. We do have a second race yet at California, and I believe it is towards the end of the regular season, if I do remember correctly, off the 2005 season. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong and if it's in the chase, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the last races of the regular season. I think it's like the second to last race. Thought it was the Labor Day weekend event at the time. Right before Richmond. Earnhardt just definitely does not have the long run speed compared to the leaders, it seems like. I think he's the highest runner in the DEI cars, and at least he knows he's right back where he qualified in 10th place as well. That's got to feel at least a little bit rewarding the way things started today. That's all he really can ask for after a rough speed weeks both in the Busch and the Cup race, is just come into this Cup race, get a top 10, and try to chip your way back closer and closer to the top 10. That's all you have to finish to make it into the chase, and you'll be within 55 points going into the final 10 races of the season. And I think that has to be the goal for Earnhardt and his quest for a first championship. We're going to catch Sadler a few more times as well in this race. Probably going to catch him about every 10 to 12 laps. It's actually a really slow car in 3 and 4 right now as we run. Down on the apron of the racetrack, trying to get the pit road. Earnhardt slides quite a bit. He's at that point in the run. He can't hold the apron as well this late. There's a white car of some sort who had blown an engine. Not sure exactly who it was. 50 laps to go this time by at the California Speedway. Earnhardt has led one green flag lap today, and it's because he stayed out longer than everybody on pit road earlier on in the race. Open is at 5:30, moved up from 6. All-Star race still at 8. All right. Yeah, I think I saw you mention that. I think I looked at it earlier today just to verify. But yeah, we'll start right when the Open starts. Don't plan on doing a pre-race for that this weekend, as far as the live commentary goes. So we're looking at 5:30 Sunday evening. Not far off our usual slotted times for midweek races on the channel. Earnhardt's definitely starting to get a little bit looser later and later into this run. A lot of cars have been pitting the last couple laps. Carl Edwards going to lead his first lap of the race. Rookie out in front. Not sure what the strategy is here for Earnhardt. He spun trying to get into the pits the last time. He definitely can't afford to do that again and go back in traffic. It didn't help or hurt him the first time, but it'll certainly hurt him this time if he has to restart at the back of the pack this late in the race. Likely on the final pit stops right now. Sadler in the 38 up high. Earnhardt will easily get around him off turn 4 down to the bottom. So definitely get spaced apart after green flag pit stops. We'll see if we cycle all the way through this time. Right rear starting to get a little bit worn on the 8. That just goes to show his car's more on the looser side of things. He scuffs the wall off of turn 2 a little bit. Like a hole-in-one. I wouldn't go that extreme. The odds of getting a hole-in-one are a lot harder. Somebody that's been playing for 7 years, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been playing a lot longer than I have that still haven't got one. My dad had one when he was 15, and he's in his mid-40s now and hasn't had one since. Mark Truex Jr. is on pit road. Mike Bliss leads this race. All these guys trying to stay out as long as they can. It could become a fuel mileage race today. Earnhardt needs to make sure he does not lock the tires up this time and wheel hop the race car trying to get to pit road. It's going to be challenging, but we'll see if he can do it. Didn't think it was going to be as tough of a pit road to get onto compared to what it actually ended up being. Bliss still on the track. Earnhardt's obviously going to lose time staying out as long as he is right now. I think it's worth the gamble. If he can make it on 2 stops today, it'll be well worth it. If he can get to victory lane in a fuel mileage race, that'd be a massive points day. When it's looking like it's going to be a dogfight just to get a top 10 for the 8. 29 of Kevin Harvick trying to get up to speed right now. Earnhardt looks low off turn 4, got a little loose. Earnhardt to the lead. Second green flag lap led of the day for the 8. Again, he's going to push it as far as he can. Doesn't plan on pitting this time by either. Just right in line behind Harvick. He feels patient enough to sit behind him right now. He knows Harvick has fresher tires as well. Doesn't want to risk wrecking the race car. Junior trying to keep it in one piece. Again, Harvick involved in that accident earlier. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. So Junior has a pretty big lead on the field. If we get a caution right now, that would be huge for Dale Jr. That would trap a lot of cars a lap down, considering he was in the top 10 when green flag pit stop started. He was a little over 6 seconds off the lead, but I mean, he's going to trap most of the field a lap down and has a shot to restart not that far back in the field. He's going to stay out this time by as well. Dale Jr. will pit this time by at lap 84. So Earnhardt going to pit at lap 84. Got really loose in 1 and 2. It's as loose as Earnhardt has gotten on these older tires. He's still sliding. Good thing he's coming in this lap. Ooh, boy. That's going to cost him a lot of time as well. Well, he's going to be solely relying on this pit crew now. It's going to have to be a fast 4-tire stop. Off turn 4. He's got the track to work with. Doesn't want to miss pit road. Trying to take his time, and he's in. Does not speed. 4 tires and fuel coming up. No adjustments for the 8 car. Actually gonna try to tighten it up with a half a round of wedge. And this is just to make sure he doesn't get too loose on the long run again like he did those last 5 to 10 laps of that run. And it could be a potential fuel mileage race as Earnhardt was able to go further than everybody else during that last run on fuel. I was wondering how the fuel strategy was going to come into play today. The 2 cautions playing out when they did. Obviously, drivers were able to save a few laps. Is that going to be enough for Earnhardt to be able to make it? Quick stop for the 8 team. No mistakes there. Dale Jr. going to work his way back onto the racetrack. He's in 11th right now. Only lost 1 spot. Jimmy Johnson, California native, trying to win at his home track, has just cycled to the lead. This is the spot he got his first career win at as well. Earnhardt getting up to speed, stays in front of Jared in the 88 car. Oh, maybe not. I think Jared's going to get around him through 3 and 4, it looks like, as Earnhardt had to go wide. So Earnhardt going to cycle out in 12th place off of pit road. 40 laps to go. He has to go 41 laps on fuel to the end of the race. Again, though, this is a 50% race, so 50 laps isn't as far as they can go on fuel. Does Earnhardt have enough to win this thing? And I think somebody's just DNF'd because Earnhardt's up to 11th again. It's 8.4 seconds off the lead, so he lost about 2 seconds by staying out a little bit longer compared to the rest of the leaders. He's not going to be as fast on the short run, I don't believe, with that wedge adjustment. Trying to help the long run speed a little bit more. Earnhardt drafting behind Dale Jarrett in the 88. Michael Waltrip is on pit road. And I believe there are some cars short pitting as the window may be open to the end of the race now. Earnhardt just going to share draft behind Dale Jarrett right now in the backstretch. It's a pretty wise move. Well, these guys pitting right now, it's going to get Dale Jr. inside the top 10 again. And he's able to save fuel running behind Dale Jarrett right now as well. So that's another big picture play right now for for Dale Jr. The reason why I was about to say Greg Biffle is because Biffle just took the lead away from Jimmy Johnson. I'm not sure if Johnson short pitted or if Biffle just outright passed him on the racetrack. I wonder if Michael Waltrip might have been the driver that blew an engine, because that X has been over him for a little bit now. Nope, Waltrip is back on the track. That's good. Still going to do one more field pass in this race eventually. It's Elliott Sadler trying to get up to speed on the bottom of the racetrack. He's still down a cylinder. Jarrett and Earnhardt going to get to the outside and run the outside through 3 and 4, just trying to stay away from the 38. It was down on the bottom. Earnhardt catching a piece of the wall off turn 4. I have 2 Elliott Sadler die-casts, if that counts as merch. Number 19, Best Buy. Car of Tomorrow, then a Gen 4, number 38, Pedigree. Paint scheme. Earnhardt getting tight in the dirty air behind Jarrett. He's going to try to pull out and make a pass on him here pretty soon, because he is losing a little bit of time running behind him. It's helping him save fuel for now. But if anybody else is able to make it on field, though, he needs to get going. He's going to want a shot to win the race. Stay behind him for one more straightaway through the tri-oval. Look at the speed into turn 1, 200 miles an hour. I don't have a Hermie Sadler diecast. I don't really plan on getting one. We're going to do our final field pass of the race. And let's see where Michael Waltrip's running right now on relatively fresh tires after he pitted not too long ago. Waltrip in 29th. Hasn't fared too well in this race so far. But again, he does have fresher tires. I'm not sure if Truex is already pitted. I don't believe so. We'll know if Waltrip will gain a spot out of it. I don't think he will. So he should blow around the 1. Waltrip hoping this stays green to the finish, considering he has short pitted. Down to the apron through 3 and 4 to pull a little bit of a slide job on his teammate Truex. Able to complete it on the fresher tires. Carl Edwards still in the lead. Trying to get Roush back-to-back wins to start the season. Biffle won the Daytona 500 for the first time in his career, and Carl Edwards trying to get his first career win today at California, which coincidentally, Greg Biffle actually won this very season as well as the season before. 2 more laps, and then we'll take a field pass to see where Martin Truex Jr. is running order-wise. Obviously, we know Truex is right behind Waltrip. Should be on the lead lap, I would think. Hope that Dale Jr. doesn't lose too much time while we're having this field pass go on right now. Trip over driving 1 and 2 just a bit. Trips up well in the middle of the corner at least. 30 laps to go at the California Speedway tonight. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. Live race commentary for real races on the race weekend, as well as this. Biffle never won a race or a title. Well, Biffle never won a championship. He did win races. I don't know what you're talking about there. I think he has 19 Cup wins. 20 in the Busch Series. Quite a few Truck wins as well. He's top 10 all time in Truck Series wins. I think he's just outside the top 20 in Busch Series wins all time. We'll see what Martin Truex Jr. is running. 20th place is Truex, 17 seconds off the lead. Not far behind Waltrip on the actual racetrack itself, as Waltrip's 3 wide on the inside of traffic up ahead. Glad we left him when we did, because I did not want to bring out a caution in this kind of circumstance and trap him a lap down, unfortunately. Be nice to get all 3 DEI cars in the chase this season. It's going to be tough for Truex being a rookie, but we'll see. A lot of competitive rookies in the field as well to try and get Truex a Rookie of the Year, as well as Earnhardt Jr. to the championship. Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards running for it. Jason Leffler in a Joe Gibbs Racing number 11 car. Look at the 3 wide going on right now. Truex may make it 4 wide off turn 4. He's gonna. 4 wide at California on the front stretch with less than 30 laps to go. And what a bold move by Truex. They were all stacking each other up 3 wide, so Truex is like, oh, I'll make it 4 on the bottom, and he got it to stick and made it through. Again, his car is handling a lot better than Dale Jr.'s as well as Waltrip's. I'd say handling-wise, Truex's is probably the best. And he's on older tires on the 15 car as well. Probably why he's outrunning the 15 on pace in this one as well. Truex making a pass on Jeff Green in the 43 car for 18th. Sent it down on the apron into turn 3. Oh, Elliott Sadler's going to stack up a couple cars on the outside lane. Truex is going to move to the bottom. Kyle Busch, Travis Kvapil, Brian Vickers all stuck on the outside to get Truex now to 16th place. And the 41 of Casey Mears is the next car in front of him, who might be 15th. Dale Jr. was in 10th, so all things considered, I mean, Truex isn't that far behind him, position-wise. And we'll go back to where Dale Jr. is running with less than 25 laps to go, this time by at the start-finish line. And we'll obviously keep him to the end of the race in our final field pass. See where the DEI cars are running. Truex with a bit of a run off turn 4 on Mears. Looks to the inside of the 41 car. Fast forwarding to Dale Jr. still in 10th place. Has not been able to get around Dale Jarrett in the 88. 24 laps to go. Again, the big question for Dale Jr. is, does he have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race? Will we stay green to the end of the race? He's lost a bit of time. He's 10.5 seconds off the lead in 10th, but does he have enough fuel to get to the end? And who has enough fuel to get to the end? Even if Junior makes it, will there be anybody else in front of him that can make it? I think Junior's going to be a little quicker long run speed with the wedge adjustment. So he's definitely lacking short run speed for long run speed on this final run. Run green all the way through the last fuel run. Had 2 cautions, but it's been since right around lap 40 since the last one. I think lap 42 was the timing of the second yellow. Lap 1 was the first one. No, I'm not streaming before the Open or the All-Star race on Sunday. Junior gonna flatline turn 3, way up the racetrack, over driving turns 3 and 4. Gonna lose a bit more time. 21 to go though, this is the calm before the storm. We've seen fuel mileage races at California before in 400-mile events, in 500-mile events in the Cup Series, but what about a 250-mile event? The way the 2 cautions played out today, it might become that kind of a race. I think if Junior has to pit, he's definitely not taking tires and is likely going to go fuel only. I think that's definitely going to help him with long run speed by tightening up the car as well. If he does have to pit with a few laps to go, he can afford to go gas and go only. I don't know if that's going to be enough to make up 10.8 seconds or not. We'll see. 20 laps to go. Earnhardt a lot better through 1 and 2 that time. He is definitely closing down the 88 of Dale Jarrett for 9th. He's hoping to get around him. He's been stuck behind him ever since he cycled off of pit road. Got a great run through 1 and 2 that time. He's close enough to get into the draft down the back straightaway. Runs half the car down onto the apron through 3 and 4. Got it to stick that time. And picks up a little bit more time on Jarrett. Again, hops in the draft. Jarrett left a lot of bottom open on corner entry into turn 1, and as he chopped down, you saw the 8 move up the track in the dirty air. Well, halfway on fuel for Dale Jr. It is going to be close to the end of the race on fuel. He has to go 41 laps total to make it to the end. We have just less than 20 laps to go. I'm not sure exactly when he hit halfway either. Greg Biffle is just taking the lead away from his teammate Carl Edwards. Biffle trying to win the first 2 races of the season. Get a little undefeated streak going. Dale Jr. underneath the 88 of Dale Jarrett. Jarrett drives it deep into turns 1 and 2 and holds on to his spot on Jr. Got the old driver of the 88 and the future driver of the 88 battling for position right now. Oh, that was a big move by Jarrett with a block to the outside. Earnhardt trying to back up the corner. That's going to allow him to beat Jarrett back to the gas off turn 4. And maybe a little bit of drafting help right behind him as well. They're closing in on Elliott Sadler. Now that is Jarrett's teammate, but will they both get caught behind him into turns 1 and 2? They will not. Both will get by down to the bottom pretty quickly. Up the track goes the 88 and the entered pretty flat to get around Sadler. Jarrett with a wide entry into turns 3 and 4 again. And again, Dale Jr. hooks the white line down on the bottom. Can he get around Dale Jarrett? Gets to the inside off 4. Got a bit loose. Contact in the tri-oval. Both cars hang on, and Junior's up to 9th. Hard-fought battle for the 9th place position with about 16 laps to go now. Earnhardt overdriving 1 and 2. He clipped the apron on entry, and he might give the spot back up again. If not, it's going to be because Jarrett was too far behind on corner entry, and that seems to be the case. 15 laps to go. The in-car cam for the final time in the race tonight. Laps to go at California. I will say this track looks pretty good in this game. I'd say arguably better than Daytona as far as like just the graphics on the outside of the track, the way you can see the mountains. I do think it's slightly better graphics than NASCAR 05. And who's going to have enough fuel to the end? Nobody has pit inside the top 8 in front of Earnhardt yet. How far will these guys push it? And it sounds like some of the leaders are going to pit now. So the drivers that know they're short to the end, they're going to try to short pit so they can gain as much track position as possible by the time they make their way off the pit road. I think only one car of the top 8 pit that time. Better than none for Earnhardt's sake. That'll move him up to 8th. Junior had a top 10 car. Again, he was running in 10th. And just made a pass on Dale Jarrett for 9th. Right before we saw some of the leaders pit. Some cars short pitted as soon as the window opened that knew that they were going to be short on fuel to the end of the race. We're by far on the longest green flag run of the day. And if we stay green to the finish, this green flag run is going to stretch just over 80 laps. 2 full fuel runs likely, or just about that. NASCAR 6 takes you one step closer to a real race car, my friend. Yes, it does. This is very difficult. This is way more difficult than NASCAR 05. It's right up there with Thunder 04 in difficulty on trying to drive the car. I like it, though. It's, like, not too difficult. Like, NASCAR 21 Ignition is just, like, impossible to make it a full race. Obviously, we can make it a full race. I proved in the 500 last night. I didn't wreck until 5 to go, and was trying to drive a little bit harder when you're battling for the win in the Daytona 500 late, but here as well, even in just a 250 miler, at least I could, make it to the end. Had that wreck on lap 1, things were just very congested with the double file start and being on the outside when we were 3 wide off turn 4 and just didn't help. I don't know if Greg Biffle pit or not, but Carl Edwards is back in the lead again. And Dale Jr.'s up to 4th. 10 to go. 10 laps to go at California. And the top 4, and even 5, as Jarrett's still in 5th, are out on the racetrack trying to stretch the fuel tank. You know what? It may be risky, but if you're Dale Jr., do you just run it till it's dry if you can make it to that final lap? You put it all out on the line to try and get a win after a 27th place finish in the 500 and the gamble of potentially losing even more points to the end of the season as well. We could get a late caution in this one. We had a green-white checker finish in the Daytona 500 last night. What's stopping us from having it 2 nights in a row to start the Cup Series season on NASCAR 06? Who knows? 3 cars ahead of Dale Jr., though, still on the track with 9 to go. The win does not guarantee a 10-man chase spot either, simply based off of points. Earnhardt's led a couple laps already today. 3rd place just pitted, I believe that was Kevin Harvick. That's going to put Dale Jr. to 3rd. And now has just a couple cars in front of him. Carl Edwards the leader and whoever's in 2nd. Which we are unaware of right now. Edwards' pace is a little bit slower than Dale Jr.'s, because Jr. was a little over 10 seconds behind him. Now just over 9 seconds behind him. Elliott Sadler maybe going to slow up the 20 of Tony Stewart. Stewart checked up. Earnhardt got underneath him and will clear him off of turn 4. Stewart on fresher tires, though. Mike Bliss just pit, and he was in second. So only Carl Edwards and Dale Jr. are still on the track right now. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race next time by at the start-finish line. Dale Jr. is low on fuel with 7 to go. That is 14 miles. This is a longer intermediate track. 2 miles to get around in 1 lap at the California Speedway. Last thing Junior wants is a caution now to potentially go past the scheduled distance because the guaranteed green-white checker. Edwards is in. Dale Jr. did not lead that last lap, but he will lead this lap. Martin Truex Jr. is in further back as well. Waltrip, we know, already pit. Junior overdrives 1 and 2. So it'll be a lead change with 5 laps to go at the line this time by for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Big racetrack. He has about 10.5 seconds right now over second place, who has a lot fresher tires as well. So it may be risky to try and save if you're Dale Jr. because he's already going to start to run you down. We know Junior's getting looser on the longer run. Not as bad as the last run. 5 laps to go. Needs to stay green and is trying to make it on fuel. Kirchie just stating to Dale Jr., you're running on fumes. He's managing a pretty good gap, though. Hopefully Truex didn't blow an engine, and he was just making a scheduled stop that last time. 4 to go. Ice the Monkey 92 Hammer, welcome to the stream, and it sounds like second place is on his way in. There might have been somebody who had not pitted yet as well. Junior had a top 10 car, but he was going to have to win the race on strategy. He was right around 9th or 10th during this final run. And with 3 to go, he leads, trying to make it on fuel to the end of the race. This is going to be close. Oh my gosh. After a hard-fought battle in the Daytona 500 last night, the quick turnaround to have to run the next night and to try for redemption for Dale Jr. to get his first win of the season. Not sure who's in second right now, but they're about 29 seconds off the lead, a little less than that. 2 to go. I don't think Dale Jr. ever won at the California Speedway before. Maybe a first-time winner at this racetrack. Very low on fuel as he's going to be coming to the white flag this time by. As he outclassed the field to try and make it on 2 stops. We saw the last of the stops just a couple laps ago. Final lap of the race. No cautions on the final lap. This is going to be it. Junior Nation has to be on the... just stomping all over the bleachers on the front stretch right now. Because Junior's heading into turns 3 and 4 with about a 28.5 second lead. And I think he could coast it from here. Fuel mileage win at California. Take it with it what you will. Dale Jr. is a winner in Cali. Let's go. First win of the season for Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's in a 50% race, but he'll take it. And he's going to burn it out until he runs out of fuel in the victory celebration, which probably won't take long. jamming out right now. Like the victory celebration music. And we're out of fuel. I knew it was close and we were probably going to run out the victory celebrations, but we got a good burnout in. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the race. Two-stopper. And Greg Biffle, after winning the Daytona 500, ends up finishing at second. And if Jr. would have ran out before the victory celebration, it would have been Biffle winning the first two races of the year, but that's not the case. Two different winners in the first two races. Junior is a winner. Didn't lead many laps. He only led 13 today, and it was all off of pit strategy, but he got the win nonetheless. I'll take it. Tokyo Drift. Yeah, Checo11, welcome to the stream. Forrest, Bambi, welcome. I saw you guys in the chat there at the very end. Carlos Alvarez as well. Fuel mileage race at California. Everybody ran out in the last few laps except for Dale Jr. 1 hour, 32 minutes to get the 250-miler in. 2 cautions for 6 caution laps. 17 lead changes. Average speed of 162.23 miles an hour. And the margin of victory, 27.3 seconds, because Dale Jr. made it on one less stop. He started 10th. He was running about 9th or 10th before pit stop started in those final 15 laps. But he was able to get the win today, nonetheless. Biffle started deep in the field again to get that second place finish as well. Ryan Newman ends up finishing in third place. Carl Edwards fourth. Jimmy Johnson back-to-back top fives to start the season. 3 laps led for him today. Kevin Harvick didn't lead any laps, but he did have a good run, finish 6th. Mike Bliss gets a top 10 at California today in 7th. He ran good in the Daytona 500 last night, but I think he actually fell back late in the race. I think he was caught up in that big one with about 5 laps to go. But great rally today. He's showing some speed early in the season and maybe trying to put a fight to Edwards and Kyle Busch for the Rookie of the Year early on. One of the Busch brothers ended up in 8th. I'll have to check to see who it was. Kurt Busch finishes in 8th place. Bobby Labonte ends up finishing in 9th, and Tony Stewart will round the top 10 out today. He led 5 laps. Kurt Busch also led 5 laps. Mike Bliss led 2 during green flag pit stops. The other DEI cars, Martin Truex Jr. finished 16th with 2 laps led during pit strategy. Michael Waltrip 1 lap down in 24th. And actually Truex finished a lap down as well in 16th. And because of the fuel mileage race, only the top 9 finished on the lead lap, with Junior making it on 2 stops, everybody else on 3. I'm not sure who led the most laps today. 33 laps led for Jeff Gordon. Gordon actually led the most. That's insane. 17 lead changes in a 250-mile race is actually quite a bit. That's why only 33 laps led for Gordon out of 125 is enough to lead the most. A lot of comers and goers in this one. It was a pretty good race. Ended with fuel mileage. Drill into the last second. We got the win out of it. We were going to get a top 10 today, but we were not going to get the win. And hey, take all the points you can get after a 27th place finish in the Daytona 500. It feels like it's going to be a very tough season to get wins. So if we can get a strategy win early, so be it. We're in the win column with Dale Jr., at least in the Cup Series, and we'll try to get him a win in the Busch race tomorrow, which will also be a 50% race, and then it'll be a doubleheader because the truck race with Ron Hornaday at California will be the full 100 laps. We had a lot of DNFs, though, in a short race. Terry Labonte on lap 6, which I saw, he blew an engine. Joe Nemechek did blow an engine at lap 19. Mark Martin blew an engine for the second straight race to start the season. Tough break for Martin. Kenny Walls blew an engine at lap 74. Gordon, who did lead the most laps, blew an engine at lap 85. Elliott Sadler, he blew an engine early, came back out on the track. Good thing he did because he at least was able to finish 38th in the 38 car. And that was it. So at least with some sort of engine failures, we had 6 drivers who had engine issues, 5 of them DNF'd. And we'll check out the early season point standings real quick as well before we get out of the stream. Only 2 races in, so it's going to be pretty close throughout the field. There's Michael Waltrip congratulating Dale Jr., the first DEI car to go to victory lane this season. And I'm surprised it only took us 2 races. But, again, fuel mileage win. We ran good, though, tonight. We ran good. Outside of the lap 1 incident, though, it was a pretty clean race. And that's all I asked for. And even on speed, if we could make it on fuel to the end there, and let's say we would have pit late in the race like everybody else did, it would have been pretty good, all things considered. We would have had a top 10, but sometimes you get lucky, you get the win. Now, the next race at at Las Vegas out west will be the full 100% race once again. Again, only 4 50% races on the season, so the full 267 lap, 400-mile race for the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400 at Old Vegas, nonetheless. Good job, Junebug. Yeah. Good old Darrell Waltrip. Frank Smith with that comment in the chat. Thanks for tuning in as well, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the race. Get you guys out of here ASAP so you can go and watch the remainder of the truck race tonight at Texas. Biffle is the points leader. No surprise considering he won the Daytona 500 and finished second tonight at California. Jimmy Johnson ends up finishing 2 top 5s to start the season as well. 2 fifth-place finishes. Carl Edwards is going to be third in points. Ryan Newman fourth. Tony Stewart rounds out the top 5 right now. Dale Jr. breaks the top 10 in points. Gained a lot of spots after finishing 27th in the 500 yesterday. And good thing he got the win today because he is going to be 88 points out of first and 10th. So if the chase started 2 races into the season, we'd be in. But we still have 24 to go. We've got a long ways to go. And obviously the higher seed, the better chances we have of winning the championship at the end of the regular season as well. So we'll try after the first 26 races to catch Biffle. And the way he's off to a strong start, it's not going to be easy. I think Mike Bliss is up there. Kyle Busch is 9th. I think Edwards is, he's 3rd. So Edwards leading the Rookie of the Year early in the season as well. Qualifying for the 500 begins tomorrow. Yeah, I'll try to keep an eye on it. I'm at work tomorrow. But of course, I'll be at the Indy 500 not this weekend, but the following weekend. And then I'll be at Gateway the week after that. So live commentary on the channel this weekend. Next couple weeks, it's going to be pretty tough. I'm definitely not going to be able to do it for the Cup Series the next couple weeks. Positions 13th and 30 locked tomorrow. Yep, and then top 12 the next day. All right, well, thanks for everybody tuning in. Again, like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's stream, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a doubleheader at California on NASCAR 6, a Busch race and a truck race. 50% Busch race, which would be 75 laps, and then a 100-lap full truck race tomorrow. So should have some more great racing action. We may see another fuel mileage race in the Busch race, with that one being another 50%er. And the truck race should be pretty straightforward, 1 or 2 stop race. We'll just see what the pit window will look like, obviously, when the race begins. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow night. And enjoy the rest of the truck race and the Xfinity race tomorrow afternoon.